Ruth and Naomi, a duo who have formed a business together called the Midnight Maid, visit the notorious Vermander's mansion to move certain items before the new owners arrive. To their surprise, they soon realize they took a job more than they bargained for, coming across horrifying paranormal events and monsters which they need to evade to survive the night. All of that while working in a tight deadline. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator. Maid Night is another game by AZ Technician Game which has very familiar features, one being remarkable storytelling and dialogue. If you have any game suggestions or want to discuss theories, follow me on Twitter and my subreddit. Keep in mind that this video will have spoilers as always, and with that said, let's begin. Ruth and Naomi, two hardworking ladies, form a business together which they name Midnight Maid, in which they take cleaning and moving jobs to pay the bills and make ends meet, only having a van to their name which they heavily rely on to run their business. Naomi, seemingly being the tech-savvy of the two, gets a text message from one of their clients who randomly cancels, making the duo worry about their income for the month as they could potentially lose their van. Their van seems to be on lease or installments, hence why missing out on the payments could lead to them losing it. Ruth, being left with no other choice, suggests taking a job which they decided to avoid before, with Naomi temporarily protesting against it but soon agreeing with Ruth as they desperately need the money. As soon as they arrive at the place, which is a mansion, it becomes apparent why they didn't want to take the job. The mansion belongs to the Vermander family, which is notorious for conducting demonic rituals and being cruel and unempathetic landowners, frequently raising the premiums on the lands. The mansion complements the family very well, as despite being very large, it has claustrophobic and oppressive halls, making one feel uncomfortable. Ruth and Naomi decide to quickly finish the job, pack everything, and leave as soon as possible. Naomi subsequently reads the instructions of what is required, explaining that the estate has been sold and the previous owner's possessions are being auctioned off. Some movers were hired before the duo, but they unexpectedly left a few hours into the work and never replied back. Ruth and Naomi are instructed to just pack as many items as they see and drop them at the estate agent's office. As Ruth starts packing the items in the main hall and heads back to load it in the van, she comes back to see Naomi speaking to a tall, mysterious man who claims to be the current owner, even though the estate agents didn't tell them about any owners being present at the estate. The man asks what the two are doing here when they explain they're here to pack the stuff for them to be auctioned off so the new owners can come to an empty property. The man, surprised to hear this, explains this is news to him, but nonetheless he strangely mentions that he expected them to lose the estate. He urges the duo to come back in the morning as quote-unquote things tend to get very strange in the house at this late hour. Ruth and Naomi explain that they need to work tonight to get the money and that they are nocturnal beings, hence why they're named the Midnight Maids. The man, left with no other choice, breaks down the situation to them that they need to be careful of his father, someone who had his fair share of demons in life, with his current state being worse than ever before. A way to evade the father is to hide in the secret alcoves built in each room as soon as the candles change color to blue, with the father's energy apparently reacting with the flames. As the father has changed over the years, he seems to have forgotten about the hidden secret places, which makes them ideal hiding spots. As the duo turn to look at the alcove in the main hall and turn back to thank the man, they see him disappear, which makes it clear that he possesses supernatural abilities. Naomi then informs Ruth they need to hurry up as they need to finish by 6 AM, having only about 4 hours before the new owners arrive. As Ruth picks up empty boxes to collect the items, with Naomi lighting the way with her flashlight, the mysterious man suddenly reappears out of nowhere, informing the duo about the past of the mansion, how so many different people visited, but of course with the horrible things that took place here, people slowly started to avoid the Vermanders. As the man suddenly disappears into thin air, the duo get back to packing when the candle's flame's color suddenly changes to blue, with the father suddenly appearing, looking around for anyone he doesn't recognize. Ruth and Naomi quickly hide in the nearest alcove, saving their lives, waiting patiently before the father goes away. Narrowly managing to save their lives, the duo decide to work faster and get out of this place in one piece. The mysterious man soon reappears, chatting with the duo of how good they are at this job and how sorry he is that they have to deal with his father. When Naomi explains they're used to it, as last month they were buried in a church, a misunderstood job which Ruth didn't read properly, hence why Naomi is dealing with all of the tech-related work. The man then introduces himself as Joseph Vermander, yet again disappearing to come back another time. As the duo get back to work, careful not to die, they notice all the doors taken off, being made of bronze. They remember they were taken off as it was mentioned that the owner is allergic to bronze, revealing the supernatural and demonic nature of the Vermanders, or at least the father. After some more time, reaching the oven room, Joseph reappears explaining that the father was cruel and merciless to the point that he would at times burn his cooks alive in the oven if he had a bad day or the meals weren't to his liking, revealing what a monster the father truly was. As it gets later into the morning, Joseph reappears again, warning the duo about Cornelius, a house servant who did the family a remarkable service, being an exemplary example of a good man. Despite his hard work and loyalty to the family, he suffered a tragedy because of the father's selfish and cruel nature. One day, when blizzard hit the town hard, the majority of the services shut down, including delivery services. The father was used to reading his newspaper every morning, and as it wasn't delivered that day, he ordered Cornelius to go out in the freezing temperatures and acquire one for him, not even providing him with a winter coat to keep himself warm. To no one's surprise, Cornelius never returned, dying alone in the cold. After some time, many months or years later, something resembling Cornelius appears outside of the gates, waiting and staring into the premises. Joseph believes it's what remains of Cornelius waiting outside to maybe one day get an answer for his untimely demise and the injustice he experienced. The catch is, if the duo stay outside long enough and face Cornelius, he would capture them, thinking that one of them might be the father, the Vermander, trying to seek revenge for what happened to him. As Cornelius' eyesights are poor, he would eventually realize he made a mistake, letting the maids go and apologizing for his mistake. However, this would cause the maids lose some time, making it more difficult to pack everything in a timely manner. As time passes on some more, Joseph reappears, warning the duo about someone called Agatha. It's a personal matter which would jeopardize the maid's safety, hence why Joseph informs them about it. He goes on explaining that Agatha used to be a servant like Cornelius, someone whom he fell in love with. They kept their relationship a secret, as the father would think she's too low for the name Vermander, and that Agatha would stay in their centuries-long name. Despite the impact this would have on their family's social status, Joseph asks her to marry him, both planning to run away together, with Joseph even willing to give up on the inheritance. That's when the father finds out, which leads to Agatha disappearing. After Joseph's relentless pleas and cries, the father explains that he put Agatha under the floorboards, somewhere she belonged, and possibly bound her to a demonic ritual. Joseph then continues that she might be a safety issue, as when she wakes up from under the floorboards, the candles turn off in that specific room, which makes it impossible to know when the father is coming, as the flames do not exist anymore to turn blue and indicate his presence. Joseph continues that he tried many times before to talk to her, but whenever he tried, she would just run away, as if she doesn't recognize him anymore, nor herself. This would also be true for the duo, with Agatha simply running away when stared at, not causing any direct threat. After some time of packing, Joseph reappears again, explaining what an exception he is in the Vermander's family. After his father's death, everything was passed down to him. He lowered the prices on all of their lands and properties and treated everyone with respect and kindness. He even returned the so-called liberated artifacts to their rightful owners, trying to clear the Vermander's name from the baddies list. That's when the father's soul observes Joseph's actions, becoming so enraged that he performs another demonic ritual, bringing himself back to life. Hence why there's a demonic ritual drawing in one of the rooms depicting how the father used it and brought himself back to life. The father, who is now haunting the mansion, is the enraged undead soul who has fuzzy memory and punishes anyone he doesn't recognize. Working hard towards ending the shift before 6 AM when the new owners arrive. If the duo fails to do just that, not packing everything, the new homeowners arrive, angry that their packing hasn't finished. The maids get asked to leave immediately, getting no payment for their work, which leaves the new homeowners with 4 unwanted guests: the undead father, the ghostly Joseph, Agatha, and Cornelius. Despite staying alive, the duo fails to find any more job till the end of the month, failing to make the payment for the van. This leads to them losing the van and as a result losing their business as midnight maids. The duo unfortunately part ways, finding different dead-end jobs, till the remainder of their lives wishing they could get back together as midnight maids, missing the time that they had together. In another ending, if the duo get caught by the enraged undead presence of the father, they become his new victims. The maids, faced with no other acceptable alternatives, they venture into a place filled with bad omens, a place that belonged to no other than the Vermanders. The corpses of the duo join the multiple skeletons stuffed in the closets, being the victims of different generations of the Vermanders. Ruth and Naomi's souls join the other 4 restless spirits in the mansion: the undead father, the ghostly Joseph, Agatha, and Cornelius, all being bound to the mansion. In a turn of events, if Ruth and Naomi manage to stay intact and finish their job on time, they encounter Joseph one last time. Joseph unveils that he's been a spirit all along, still roaming the halls of the mansion as he's been used to it. It seems that he was killed by his father after he tried to do good and create a different reputation for the Vermanders. This explains why the estate agents mentioned the owner of the mansion is unavailable, basically being dead, with them auctioning everything away and selling the property. Joseph explains despite loving the place so much, it's time for him to finally move on to the afterlife. The midnight maids then also reveal they typically work in houses that are haunted by ghosts, hence why they work at night. They also seem to have additional services for an affordable $50 per head for helping spirits move on. As Joseph is about to move on, the father called Jeremiah soon appears, demanding Joseph to stay. Joseph finally stands up for himself after all these years, saying how his entire life he's been trying to please a grudgeful and unhappy father who never cared. And the rest of his short life, Joseph stayed in the house to do right and atone for the sins of his father. That's when Agatha suddenly appears, telling Joseph that she never forgot about him, but was sick and tired of him sucking up to his father and not standing up for himself, hence why she gave him the silent treatment for so many years. Joseph apologizing to Agatha for what happened to her. He expresses his love for her, holding each other's hands, finally moving on happily to the afterlife. As Jeremiah becomes more enraged, trying to punish the duo, a familiar face appears, being no other than Cornelius, here to take his well-deserved revenge. Cornelius, despite the injustice he faced, provides Jeremiah with the newspaper he wanted many decades ago, which makes Jeremiah treat him with contempt and disrespect, calling him useless. For this, Cornelius cracks a funny pun before burning Jeremiah in a grisly manner to a crisp, having the last laugh basically. As Jeremiah burns to non-existence, losing his so-loved legacy, Cornelius bids the duo farewell before having his deserved justice and moving on to the afterlife as well. The maids, just amazed what happened in such a short time, get back to their van, happy that they could make another monthly payment for the van, going on about their business just to work hard to pay off another payment for the van. And with that, the story comes to a happy ending with everyone getting what they deserved. Hopefully Ruth and Naomi had a good job and get some decent dough for many months of repayments for the van. If you folks enjoyed this video, stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Star. Until the next video, have a fantastic day.